This is Ritter from the Red Tape Blog, coming at you another edition of Movie Reviews Observation number 191. First movie I watched this week was called The Miracle Club. And it doesn't matter, as you see, look, it baffles me how the library could think this really Irish drama about old women back in the day and their places at home as the cook, cleaner, mother, and provider, how they can't do whatever they want, they get upset. It's about friendships where some woman has passed away and her estranged daughter has come in, and these are people who are friends with the daughter or friends with the mother that are kind of judging her. And there's like this myth that oh, Mary went to this place and there was miracles and we got to go there, but it costs money to go and it's a tourist trap kind of in a way, and that kind of drama, and people with real illnesses, this boy who doesn't talk, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is very depressing. There's no possible way that this is a comedy. It's super, 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 super depressing. I don't get it. It made no sense to me, okay? Kathy Bates pretending to be Irish. I give her credit. She's a very good actress. But, At least Maggie Smith is from the UK. So it's like, okay, cool. And again, barely 90 minutes. So it's not that long of a movie, but it's not a comedy. The next movie I watched was Russell Crowe's The Pope's Exorcist. And that one, again, it's hard to tell. An hour and 47 minutes. Not that long of a movie. It's supposedly based off of the Father Gabriel, the chief exorcist of the Vatican. So it's like there's some basis towards it. There's a plot. There's a premise. They set up who he is, what's going on in his life, why he's now doing this. They have a pope. They have all these people that are on the panel. And there's a clear bad guy and who they got to defeat. And there's somewhat of historical essence to it. And I thought it was very cool that there was it was a cool origin story. There's a whole purpose. There's a hero in the movie. Russell Crowe does a very good job, but he's, again, speaking Italian. I don't know. It's interesting that he does that. They're in Spain or something or whatever, and it's pretty cool. And there's a lot of movies about exorcists. There's a lot of movie about, people who are exorcists and they work for the Vatican. They work for the church, whatever. But I thought it was really good. I liked it. I was surprised how good it was. Next movie I watched was called That Quiet Girl. Library again. Dialogue in Irish, Gaelic, and English with English subtitles. So I thought, okay, cool. It's going to be in English. Nope. 99% of this movie was in Irish Gaelic. And it was very confusing how this little girl and her family, things are not going well. At school first, getting picked on. People think she's weird. Doesn't get along at home with her siblings. And she gets sent off to these people. They don't really say if it's cousins or family friends. But then she lives there. And things don't go well, and then eventually things turn around, because that's how movies work. And then she has to go home eventually and doesn't want to go home, and even when she comes home, she doesn't want to really stay home. That's what I got out of this movie, and again, not a great movie, barely 90 minutes. Then I watched The Blackening, and usually I'm not a huge fan of horror films, but again, this one was 97 minutes. They call it the first great horror comedy of the post-Get Out era. Okay, so Jay Farrell was in this movie, spoiler alert, but they waste his money there. Grace Byers is in this movie. Jermaine Fowler's in this movie. And the woman that I mentioned on TV reviews and on my podcast, Mayo from American Auto, who is not a great actress, she's in this movie. So basically, this movie is where a group of friends that went to college reunite. Some are dating, some are married. There's a gay friend, token gay friend. There's a bunch of people. And they all are going to this cabin. It's not like a cabin in the woods where everyone dies in horror films. Black people die first, whatever it is. It literally is the idea that they're in a mansion that's in the woods. And there's a board game. And the board game is somehow, they think, connected to them. But then they blow it off. There are racist white people in the area. They don't know who it is. And it's a survival movie like a lot of horror films. The game, I think, is called The Blackening, where they ask you, black trivia questions, and they're like, how do you know if it gets it right? So I thought it was clever. And a plot twist and all these other things in this movie that made it a pretty good horror film. Not too long. Somewhat a little gory. Jermaine Fowler was really good in this movie, and I thought, okay, cool. There's an issue. They got to survive the board game. They got to survive the night. Diedrich Bader makes a little cameo in the movie as the sheriff. Not the sheriff, but the county ranger, park ranger, and I thought that was cool. So overall, that was a good movie. Then I watched Elemental, which is probably the best movie of the week. Because, again, Disney always pulls in the heartstrings. They really do. And in doing so, the movie made me cry a lot of times. It's all about, these people live here. They don't really interact with these people. You shouldn't talk to them. You shouldn't date them. You shouldn't interact with them. You should be separate, blah, blah, blah. You know, the idea of foreigners coming from a foreign land and working their butt off to make ends meet and saying we got to be in our own little town here, Firetown, because the Element City is really a city for the water people. Yeah, there's wind and there's like earth, but, you know, still. I thought it was good. And the girl who plays Georgia, you know, Georgette, whatever, on Riverdale voices the lead Fire Girl. And I thought, man, this was pretty good lesson about family values but then also opening yourself up to open possibilities and love and all this other stuff. And yeah, catchy movie, catchy music, good premise. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Then I watched Love Again. And guess what? It wasn't a horrible movie. You're like, okay, cool. And this is the movie that you would put a comedy sticker on over drama because it is a rom-com. Yes, it's very depressing that the main character, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, the Jonas brother, one of their wives, boyfriend gets killed by a drunk driver. We don't see it, but it happens really right in the movie, and she's depressed for years. And she's this critically acclaimed children's author and hasn't done anything since. The fact that she's like got an accent, and her boyfriend Sam Hudigan has an accent because he's a British music writer, and they bring Celine Dion because he's got to interview something more mainstream, and she helps him in his love pursuit. That it wasn't horrible, and it wasn't the worst movie I've ever watched. It's a cheesy, typical comedy rom-com that is barely an hour and 40 minutes. Celine Dion's music is featured heavily throughout the movie, so that's like advertisement for her, besides from playing herself. And it's all about giving love another chance. Like, he got left at the altar, and he is not really into love and everything, and he's in a funk. And she's not doing her career because of the funk that she's in. So I'm like, okay, I find those like interesting views. The two of them kind of work together. They have a token gay friend in the movie, so it was very interesting. But again, not the worst movie, not the best movie, but a cheesy rom-com that should definitely have a comedy. And apparently there were 5 new songs of hers in the movie. And again, you can play 1,000 Celine Dion songs for me. Celine Dion songs. I'm not going to know which one is which. And lastly, I watched Golda Meir with Helen Mirren, based on a true story during the Yom Kippur War, where, if you know your history, all the Arab countries like Egypt and Syria, they attacked us on all fronts because, again, Yom Kippur is the most holy day on the planet. So we're not doing anything. We're just all in shul, in synagogue, praying, all this other stuff, fasting. That is the perfect time to assault on each end, like just attack us. And this is during the tense 19 days. It's also about like a hearing later on. Henry Kissinger is played by Liev Schreiber. They kind of portrayed Diane as a very emotional, over-the-top, defeated person. And I don't know if that's really true. But yeah, it was learning about her battle with hell and all this other stuff, and I thought it was good. You get a little history lesson of the Yom Kippur War. You get a lesson about Golda Meir, the first female prime minister in the Israel history, the relationship with the United States. It was 93 minutes without credits, so I'm like, it's educational. You learn. Good acting by Helen Mirren and a lot of the other actors who were playing some of the famous Israelis in the movie. I was like, that's good. I liked it. Great movie. Helen Mirren deserves an award for her performance as Golda Meir, because she looked exactly like her. Helen Mirren, is British, but Golda Meir is not Israeli, so she's from Russia, so got a different accent, so it's pretty good. But I will say this, the best movie I watched this week was Elemental, the kids movie, because again, everyone can watch this movie and have a good time. Golda Meir, again, a little bit Jewish bias, like a movie about Israel history. Second best movie I watched this week. And then I will say The Pope's Exorcist, because it was cool, and Russell Crowe was pretty bad, but like he was really good. I'm not trying to swear, but like really, really cool and trying to save the day from all these demons and stuff. That was pretty cool. The Blackening was a very clever comedy horror film. Like, I liked it. And even though this was a cheesy rom-com, Love Again was was average. It's just A Quiet Girl is not a good movie, and The Miracle Club is depressing and not a comedy. So overall, this week, if I could say that I watched 4 really good movies and 1 average movie and 2 below average movies, then it's not a bad week. Thanks again for listening. Movie Review Updations number 191. For On the Radar Today blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.